Test, 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 test. Okay. Oh, the Yishmarecha, 'twas brillig and the slidey toves did gyre and jimble. Okay.
Good morning and welcome to Live Oak. Please rise in body or spirit for our gathering hymn, number 368. Now let us sing.
Good morning and welcome, beloved community. I'm Reverend Joanna. In this sacred space, we gather as one, celebrating the tapestry of our diversity, honoring the boundless love that unites us all. Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church is unambiguously, unapologetically progressive, and our doors swing wide to embrace all who seek a welcoming place, where we celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community, where we know that every identity is a divine expression of humanity, where we commit to the work of dismantling systemic racism and other oppressions, striving for a world where equity, compassion, and justice are the cornerstones of our shared existence. May our worship today be a source of inspiration, a wellspring of courage, and a call to action. Welcome, dear friends, to this place of love, acceptance, and progress.
This way. Good morning again. My name is Lindy Dower, and I want to give a special welcome to any visitors we have today, in person or online. If you haven't already, I encourage you to stop by our visitors table in the narthex after the service to sign up for our weekly email newsletter, lots of stuff in there, and so we can meet you and answer any questions you may have. And next Sunday, September 8th, you have an opportunity to learn more about Live Oak at our Exploring Membership class, which is hosted by Reverend Joanna and the membership team, and is held in the library after Sunday's service. Unitarian Universalist, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Unitarian Universalism is a non-creedal faith. There are no doctrines you have to agree with in order to belong. Instead, we are held together by covenant, our promises to each other in this church and within our religious tradition. Please join me in these words from our historic faith.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
We unite with UU churches around the world by lighting our flaming chalice, the symbol of our religion. Today, Ren will be lighting our chalice. Here and at home, we light it today with these words. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion, as we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. All the water on earth is really one water, continuously flowing. All water is connected and connects all of life, just as we strive for connection with each other. Our reading today is by Reverend Molly Hoosh Gordon, Learning to Love This World. Fat drops of dew on the emerald leaves of a succulent. We gathered together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us across all creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. Thus ends our reading.
For the past 31 years, Live Oak has been a beacon of acceptance, love, and inclusivity in an area where our values often challenge the status quo. In a world where divisiveness and intolerance can seem to grow stronger, we firmly believe in the transformative power of our faith and the positive impact we are having in our area. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. If you'd like to donate electronically, there is a card with a QR code in the seat back pockets. It also contains a text number if you prefer to give that way. Every week we share what is given with an organization whose works reflect our own UU values. And this month we are giving to TexUGM, the Texas UU Justice Ministry. And here to tell us more is Lindy Dower again.
Like Reverend Joanna said, this month's Live Oaks Share the Plate is supporting TexUGM, which is Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry, the state action network for UUs, of which our congregation is an active member, and I am proud to be Live Oaks representative on its advisory council. TexusUGM educates and organizes Texas UUs all across the state, congregations and partners to advocate effectively for UU principles in public policy and the public square, including coordinating Texas UU The Vote and the UU Legislative Advocacy Day at the Capitol. The newsletter this past week highlighted some of our accomplishments, so I hope you read it or did read it. I want to highlight a couple of things that are happening this fall. On October 18th, there will be an Empower Safety Workshop at First UU Austin. And on September 12th, we'll have there's a Thursday night action hour that everyone and your friends, they don't have to be UUs, are invited to. And on September 12th, we will have an immigration focus with talking points for advocacy and tools for language to use at the legislature next session, which is just in January. I will be providing details in our newsletter. As Reverend Aaron Walter, director of TexusUGM, says, we are part of something bigger than ourselves, and we will keep doing our part, one action at a time. So please give generously to this important ministry.
Let this time of offering be a reflection of our shared commitment to making a positive impact on our world and a reminder that our UU values guide us not only in our beliefs but also in our actions. And thank you for your presence here today and your contributions to our ongoing journey of building the beloved community here and in our wider parish.
Good morning. I'm Chris Jarman, your Director of Lifespan Faith Development. And this is one of our awesome kids, Julia. And Julia is going to help with the story today. So first I'm going to hand you this. And I'm going to have you stand right out here where everybody can see you. But first, before we tell our story, we need to practice some things because you are all storytellers also. So, the first thing I want you to practice is sign loudly. Can you sigh loudly? Very good. And then Julia's going to help us as we go along so we don't have to remember. And then we're going to sigh again really loudly. Are you ready? And then our next call. Ready? We're practicing too. Now, you're going to make rain. There are different ways to make rain. You can go like this. Or you could do this, whichever one is most comfortable. And then we're going to, all right, ready? We'll make rain. Can you make it louder? Can you make it softer? Ooh, it's sprinkling. All right, you ready? What's our next one? We're going to go whoosh. Your turn. Yes, and our next one. Got it? Single clap. Dang, y'all are good. Let's do it again. Yeah. Now let's go. Woohoo! Woo! Awesome. And we got it? Do you need an assistant? Okay. No, seriously, I made it difficult. I was not thinking this through. So now we're going to make waves. Are you ready? Awesome. All right. Are you ready for our story? Yeah. Yay. Not yet. Notice the question mark. The end? No, not really. So, I want to know how many of you were up to see the sunrise this morning? Yeah, it was incredible. It was one of those Texas sunrises that I still am not used to, where it's like that luminescent, iridescent, orange, yellow, gold. And there was clouds, and it was gorgeous, and I was thinking, I wonder what the clouds think about the sun. I wonder about raindrops, the things that make the clouds. And so I want to share a story that may or may not have happened. My earliest memory is drifting up through the sky, heading further and further up. I couldn't see anyone else that looked like me, but I could somehow feel that the sky was full of things just like me as I kept rising. I started to gain a form that I could see. I was a single drop, but I was part of something greater. Together with some other drops, we formed a family, a big, puffy family. And we floated around the sky for what seemed like an eternity. But eventually, we started to fall back down to earth. Although my trip back down to the ground was pretty fun, I was surrounded by my friends and family. I still felt pretty lonely. I missed that feeling of being part of something greater than myself. It was pretty fun floating around in the sky. I felt like I was losing a part of myself as I fell to the ground. Whoosh! Before I knew it, splat! I hit the ground hard. There was green stuff around me, and slowly I started to sink down into the ground. It was cold, and it was dark, and I was really scared. Some of my friends that fell to the ground with me disappeared into different routes, and I felt all alone in the darkness. And I kept falling and falling through the ground, and it was so dark I couldn't see where I was. I couldn't see where I was going. And I thought I'd be stuck alone in the darkness forever. I slammed up against something pretty hard. Whoops. Go like this. Cool. You're cool. And I was stuck against a rock and a hard place for quite a long time. It took time, so much time, but I made it past the rock. And then I met other drops like me who had made it past the rock and the hard place, and we started to come together. This was a very exciting time for me. These were entirely different drops than I had met before, and they had some really interesting stories to tell. One remembered being part of a plant that had gotten eaten by a dinosaur. And one remembered being part of a great storm and was blown all the way through a tree. And it was so nice to have so many different drops from so many different backgrounds come together. And eventually our stream, that's what we called ourselves, made it out of the darkness and into the light. Woohoo! We saw all sorts of fun sights, and soon our stream joined with other streams, and we weren't worried about losing each other because we found even more friends along the way. We became more than just individual streams. We became a river. Our river merged with more and more, and soon we joined a big body of water. One of the elder drops called it the sea. Let's make waves. I had never felt more at home. There was a big community all around us, individual drops of water. Some came from rivers, some came from the sky, and drops continuously joined us, and we celebrated their arrival. Drops would also leave us, disappearing back up into the sky, and although we mourned their loss, we knew that they were continuing on their journey, and we wished them well. I had made it through the dark times and arrived at my home. Let's pause for a moment. In our story, the drops of water came from different streams to find a community together when they merged into a river and later into the sea. When two sources of water merge, like our water communion today, it's impossible to tell which water came from where and from what source. A true community is formed. We all come from different places and different experiences, but when we unite as a community, we are inseparable. Our drops of water have come from different streams today, but united, we are all a river. And with that, the end. Or is it? Thank you, Julia.
Please rise as you are willing and able for our next hymn, The River.
Yeah. You can sit down for a sec. So one of the things important that is important in a covenanted community, which is what we are, is a flexibility and also this, a willingness to be able to not try and fake it, but to say, you know what, let's take a pause real quick so that we can do this right. So this, I would love to say this was actually all planned so that I could give you this illustration. But sometimes we just have to wing it. There we go. Thank you very much, Curtis. So what we're going to be doing today is an annual event called the Water Communion. And this ritual is done at Unitarian Universalist congregations across the country. And it's where we bring a little water from our journeys from the past year. And if this is your first time here or you forgot to bring some water, that's okay. We got some symbolic water in this pitcher up here. I remember this one year at my home congregation when this woman who had just in the past month or so given birth, coming forward and joking about how what she brought was amniotic water. Okay, the woman was me. It was a joke. What I didn't know then was that I was actually coming close to sort of the symbolism that was first evoked with this ritual. In 1975, there was a UU, and her name was, or is, Lucille Shuck Longview. And she was a UU delegate to the United Nations. They were having an event called, an assembly called Women's Year in Mexico City. And she returned from that assembly, as historian Susan Ritchie has said, convinced that religion, even her beloved Unitarian Universalism, was a chief culprit in the perpetuation of oppressive sexism. So after that, she was so on fire about that she gathered other people who cared about this matter and authored what became known as the Women and Religion Resolution that was passed by the 1977 General Assembly of Unitarian Universalist Congregations. And that resolution called for an intensive examination of the, quote, sexism inherent in religious literature and institutions, beginning with the UUA itself. So you have to realize at this time, things that we take for granted now that if we're reading, we kind of stop and pause, it was still in all of our materials, like using mankind rather than humankind, using man and he and him as a gender-neutral term that was supposed to refer to everyone. And so it had a big impact. Those of you who are familiar with what were called our 7 principles, they had originally been created in 1961, and they still used language like that. So they went through, they changed those principles, they looked closer at our hymnals and other things like that. And then in 1980, there was a convocation of UU women across the country. And Lucille Longview, together with Carolyn McDade, and some of you know her because she's the person who wrote one of our most popular hymns, Spirit of Life. They got together and they created a ritual. They wanted, because women were coming from all over the United States, they asked them to bring some sort of representative water from oceans, from rivers, from lakes, and to bring them all together. And they called this ritual coming home like rivers to the sea. They wrote this: water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence, acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came. It is the womb of life, and that amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally. We now realize that this worship service was for us a new story of creation. We chose water as a symbol of our empowerment. And this year, as we are seeing again a woman who is running for President of the United States, again be subject to so many sexist attacks, I just thought it was a great time to remind us of the womanly origins, the feminist origins of this ritual. And this whole thing of coming home. You know, we're in the South, and even today it is not unusual if you move to a new neighborhood for someone to come and talk to you and to ask you, have you found your church home yet? Has anyone ever gotten that question before? Yeah, and if you're a little wishy-washy, you're probably going to be getting an invitation to that person's church. Maybe we should actually look at this a little closer. I understand we never want to proselytize, but there's a difference between proselytizing and being inviting. And maybe we can find our own language for it, not about, have you found your church home, but hey, I don't know if you're into this, but I'm part of a community that's pretty cool. Like we're pluralist, which means, we don't all agree on the same things. We've got atheists and Christians and pagans and Buddhists and all kinds of folks like that in our community. We are absolutely progressive. But you know what? If you're ever interested in seeing what that's like, I'd love to meet you there. Let me know. We have found something here that we love. And in the same way, when you find a great restaurant, you want to tell people about it. We probably shouldn't withhold ourselves from sharing that. Now today what we are doing is we are bringing together, as I said, water from our different journeys, or maybe it's from your backyard spigot. But what we're symbolizing is the acknowledgement that each of us are on our own separate journeys. We each go and we travel without everyone else. Sometimes we even move away. I'm trying to change the bylaws so y'all can't do that anymore, but I understand freedom and all that. But then when we come back, we bring all of those experiences with us. And so when we combine them here, what we are symbolizing is that we are all richer when we share our journeys, share our ideas, share our experiences, and share our wisdom. So, welcome to the 2024 Water Communion. So, as I said, this is a tradition where we are honoring the journeys that we have taken, and this is our homecoming. So whether you have been a member of Live Oak since the very beginning, or whether this is your first Sunday here, welcome home. I'm going to ask you to come forward, maybe kind of a row or two at a time. And this, of course, for us, consent is very important. So it is only if you feel comfortable with doing any part of this. If you would like to say where your water is from, feel free. But here's the most important part. If you are willing, just give us one or two words that signify the spiritual significance of the water. Did it bring you renewal, refreshment, joy, clarity? Does it represent grief, vulnerability, anger, forgiveness? Find your own word and share it and your water in this community of transformation. And as y'all are coming forward, I'm going to begin. This is water from our water communion last year. What I do every year is after these are all combined, in the next couple of weeks, I boil them to make them good and sterile. We use them in certain rituals, like when we do a child dedication. And this is from last year, which symbolizes the continuation of this community year to year. And anyone who feels comfortable, come forward, including you, the choir. And I will be sharing from the pitcher today. This is symbolic water for tears, and it symbolizes grief.
Phil and I went to Niagara on the American side and the Canadian side, so ours, I guess, symbolizes adventure and spirit.
My name is Melissa, and I identify with being pagan or Wiccan, and water is incredibly important to me, and this is rainwater that I collect when it rains here in Texas. And so this symbolizes vulnerability and renewal.
So I don't have anything like special to say, but this is like the first time I visited the Pacific Ocean.
I actually wanted to bring the water from here because this is home and faith to me.
I brought water that represents the pool we visited over the summer. It represents the fun and entertainment of life.
I brought ocean water from the time we went to San Diego.
I brought water from our trip to Corpus Christi this summer to represent just the freedom I feel out in the water in the ocean.
I brought water from the school where I started teaching this past August. It represents fresh starts.
I brought water from the water fountain out here because this place brings me joy and community.
I brought water from my first visit to Utah last week, where I was on a retreat, and the water represents healing.
I also brought water from the faucet, and for me, this is community and a return to the church.
This was so inspiring. Water to me is love because we're made of water, and I come from the Pacific Ocean, so thank you for sharing that. It was a really beautiful reminder, and thank you.
Wayne and I brought water from the Scottish Highlands, which we got 3 years ago to take to water communion 3 years ago, and we've forgotten it until now. And it represents our family history.
I brought water from my grandma's tap, and to me, water represents life and living.
I didn't bring water, but the water I'm going to pour represents water from the Rio Grande River because it's where I grew up, and I didn't actually bring the water from there because it's full of parasites. But water, to me, symbolizes the feeling of coming home.
This is water, symbolic water, from Minnesota, where we visited this past summer, and that's where we moved from. And so my word is joy because we reconnected with a lot of old friends. We left about 26 years ago, and it was wonderful. And the tap water was cold. Lovely.
I brought water from my bathroom, which is where I feel that I get to play with expression. Water represents, as a non-binary person, fluidity to me.
We brought water from our twins' birthday party a couple weeks ago, which represents joy to us because we did a lot of fun stuff this summer.
We forgot our water, but I'm going to use the pitcher to represent water from San Diego, and I'm going to use the water to represent change for moving here and good change.
And she has the water, so it's from, ours would be from our backyard pool, because it represents happiness.
I brought water from the Arkansas River in central Colorado. Standing in water brings me peace and joy.
I brought water from our backyard pool as well because it represents family and fun and joy.
I brought water from home, but this represents my time in Egypt in March, and the word is closure.
I brought water from my home, representing stability.
We also brought water from home, and Benson likes to think it's from our pool, symbolizing fun.
Hello, I'm bringing tap water from the home of my kind guests while I'm on my visit here. So my water represents gathering and support.
I brought water from our home as well, and it represents life and healing.
I'm going to use the pitcher water. To me, it's going to represent the rain, which in this heat brings hope of a better day.
I'm also going to use the pitcher water. For me, it represents Barton Springs. I go there almost every day, and it's just represents peace.
This is all the way from my Whirlpool refrigerator filter, and but in all seriousness, I am very grateful for access to everyday comforts.
If I had remembered, I would have brought water from Denver, Colorado, where I was last week, visiting my son and his bride-to-be, and it represents the warmth of love of family and the UU family as well.
As we are blessed by one another and the sharing of our spiritual journeys in this community, so we bless this water as a symbol of our gathered community. May we use it in the year to come as a symbol of our continuing commitment to one another and to the greater forces which sustain life. I invite you now to join me in a moment of reflection in word and in silence. Make yourself a little bit more comfortable and close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. You and I and all of us blew about with the winds of summer, following the sun in different ways of freedom and play, finding rest in the cool stillness of shadows, and moving to the slow, heat-struck rhythms which turn the long hours of summer light. Now it is time for gathering in. We come together at this time and in this place on the bridge of autumn. Summer is fading backward into memory, and winter waits in cold brilliance. We meet with eagerness and delight, needing one another for sharing. We have joys and sorrows and hopes to share, questions, things we care about and want to help make better. things that we would like to understand, ideas waiting to be heard. Today we are together in gladness, once more the special community that we call our church, a community of all ages that sings its songs, tells its thoughts, asks its questions, and searches together with courage and with love. And let us hold that for a moment together in sacred stillness. Amen and blessed be. Would you please join me in singing? When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. This community is a chosen village where our lives are interconnected. Part of the tapestry of this communal journey is sharing the significant milestones, joys, and sorrows in our lives and witnessing the diversity that we hold. One of us may be celebrating a life event while another is mourning a grief. And there's a beauty in that mosaic as we are reminded that these moments of life are transient and ever-changing. And today, Sophie shares, my husband and I celebrated our 15-year anniversary this week. Tracy Norwood shares its birth-anniversary week. Happy 42nd to John, and happy 19th anniversary to Tracy and John. And two of the same joys that I know many of us share. Chris Jarman shares such joy in sharing in Reverend Carey's ordination. Ooh, I love that we're now saying Reverend Carey. And Lindy also shares Carrie Holly Hurt's ordination was yesterday, and it was so very special. She is now Reverend Carey. P.S. Our other intern, Kaya Hartwood, says hi to everyone. And so Carrie Holly Hurt, we did her ordination at First Church yesterday, but we were also ordaining her. She was a former intern here at Live Oak, and for those of you who remember here is another joy. She is going to be with you this fall for 2 Sundays in a row. Can't wait to have her back. May this community draw closer with our shared experiences as we celebrate life's triumphs and navigate its trials together. There is a power, I think, in acknowledging the differences and the changes of season, especially when you live somewhere where the changes of season are not always quite so apparent when you walk outside. It is good to have these rituals. And next Sunday begins what is considered to be our new church year. So expect the unexpected, expect some new things, including a new liturgy. We change that every year. Life is short. We don't have much time to gladden the hearts of those who walk this way with us. So be swift to love and make haste to be kind. Go in peace and go in love.
Today, for faith development, we have an all-ages contemplation center set up in room 105, where you'll find 4 different centers that focus on water as a spiritual practice, and all are invited to attend. We also have our fellowship tabletop discussion questions set up for you, along with activities to occupy your head, your heart, your hands as you discuss and delve deeper into what it means to be part of the water communion and part of this community. So we invite you to find where you are comfortable and have conversation and delve into your own faith development. Thank you. Is Ren here? I need a chalice extinguisher. Okay, you're on. Please join me in extinguishing our chalice with these words by Unitarian Universalist Wayne Arneson. Oh, there she is. Yay! Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Thanks, Ren. Let us leave this service with renewal in our spirit and a song in our heart. Please rise for hymn number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. Oh, which book? Okay, the gray or the blue?
Oh, blue hymnal.
Blue hymnal.
Blue hymnal 1007. Yeah, this is it. You might also know this one. It's very easy. We'll do soul, heart, and mind. Those are the only word changes.
There
been a gift to be together today. Please spend the next 5 minutes talking with someone you don't yet know well. Members, be sure to introduce yourself to any first-time visitors. They're probably the ones with the handwritten name tags. And show them where the visitors table and the coffee are. And may we all know the blessings of friendship.